Hello there guys, welcome to a little tutorial on introduction on Adobe InDesign. InDesign, which is this little icon down here, it's an Adobe tool that's going to allow us to package our photographs into a singular body of work. Here is a final PDF export of Stories for the Seas, which is what I created using Adobe InDesign. And you'll see this is showing in spreads. So this is my left page over here and then my right page over here, but I chose to have it exported as a spread, so it's nice to see both pages in the PDF. Adobe InDesign, it lets you use grids to have perfectly straight lines, make sure everything's aligned. It's a great tool to use for someone who's trying to package your photographs, sequence them into a body of work. You can also add text there with it. It's really just like a bookmaking, poster making platform that's offered by Adobe. Photographers will also use them to make their photography portfolios. You'll see mine here from 2022. I'll have my project description on this page, and then I flip the spread over and it's a little preview of a full project that I've created. Another project description with the project title, the year that I made it, project description. The next spread is the actual work or a preview of the work. So yes, photographers love to make their portfolios using Adobe InDesign. And it is a little intro into graphic design, but I think that it is necessary in digital photography too, to know how you can package your photos into a singular body of work. So let's start with Adobe Lightroom. Let's say you have your photographs over here. You've done all the edits that you want to do for them. This is actually taken with a film photograph, so I didn't do too much edits here. And let's hit G to get this grid. I'm going to hold Shift and select whichever photographs I want. Maybe I'll also hold Command to select a single one instead of all the images in a row. Let's just say I do that, holding Command to select the images that I want for my publication. I'll click Export, and I'm going to choose, let's make a new file. Let's just say first InDesign project. And in here, in this folder, I need to make sure that I put all of my finished edited images here. Okay, let's say content, because this is the folder which is going to keep all of the images that will be linked to Adobe InDesign. If I ever delete any of these photos in this content folder, then InDesign is going to say that those photographs are missing. Similar to how Lightroom will sometimes say that your photos are missing if you move them or lose them from the Finder. We're going to export these as JPEGs and with a 100 quality. Typically, when you're making this, you are planning to print it, so you'll want to make sure that your resolution is 300. If you're only planning to have it as a digital PDF, then you can just put 72, knowing that it'll save you some of your megabyte space. But I'm going to have it as 300, sharpen, and ideally we're going to be printing on either a matte or a glossy paper. Again, if it's just for screen, you can click screen, but I'll put glossy paper for now. And I think that's it for all of our settings. And we're going to not have resize to fit, we're just going to have it as big as possible. So while that's exporting, I'm going to show you in Photoshop, in case you're working in Photoshop, where you can find the file size. Okay, so we're open in Photoshop, and if you are coming from here, click Image at the top, Image Size, and you want to make sure that resolution is at 300 before you export it. To export, File, save a copy, mark it as a JPEG, and put it in that contents folder. All right, quality 12, at maximum, click OK. It'll save down there, and then we can close Photoshop. now we have all of our content organized here. Let's open Adobe InDesign. It'll take a moment to turn on. All right, let's X this out. We're going to be starting with a new file, so click the blue new file over here. We want to make sure that these units are in inches, something that we know. Nope, not picas, inches. We'll do 8.5 by 11 since we know that, and we'll say, you'll have a different project name, but I'll do first InDesign project. So here you can have your portrait or landscape orientation. I'll just do portrait. Facing pages, I'll have that checked on. All of this should be fine. It's just the default 0.5 inches for the margin, top, bottom, and inside and the outside. Let's click create. Okay, brand new Adobe application. Just to make sure we're all on the same space, on the same page, let's go to Window, Workspace. You could do Essentials. If you still have this, let's do Essentials Classic. This is the one that I learned on. Let's click X this out of the way. On the right side over here, we have pages and layers and links. These are all crucial to use. If you don't see these, you can do, let's see here, window and pages, click that on, and then that should come over here. Now, what we're gonna do first, let's try using the type tool over here. It's the T. Click and drag that as you please, and you can do Mr. Sandoval, whatever you want. You can title it My Photo Project. Command A to highlight the whole thing. You can change the size of your text over here. You can click over here to align it to the center. And let's see. Command R turns the rulers on and off. I'm gonna drag a guide from this side, and it's gonna snap at some point typically. Oh, it's not snapping. I was gonna try to find the center. No matter. What we can do, pull it all the way to the edge, and then over here, top left, let's do this, divided by 2, and then click enter on your keyboard. And now it found the center perfectly. Same thing for going down here, pull it all the way down, 11 divided by 2, and there's the center. So I can pull this box here, hold shift and pull it down, and I have found my center. Okay, so you guys feel free to play around with that. This is seriously a guides-based Adobe platform. We'll get into guides in the future, but this video is just an introduction. To create a new page, click this plus down here. Click it one more time and you have a spread. Click it again, one more time, you have a spread. Only the first page is going to be like your cover page. These are the ones down here, is the content inside. Speaking of content, click and drag to put over there. You can click it and it gets too big. So I'll do Command Z. Get out of here. And then instead, I'm going to hold Shift, click and drag. Get out of here. So I can move it around like that. Let's go back over here. We can add another image, drag it from your content in your Finder over to InDesign. Hold Shift and click and drag. The reason why I'm holding Shift is because if I don't, then it can get kind of weird. Holding Shift helps to maintain proper proportion. You can drag it to different pages. To make it bigger, you can click and hold the corner, click Shift and hold, and then you make the actual frame bigger, but the image is actually not. So you can either control click, fitting, fit frame proportionally, and then it'll fill in that area. It's just another way to crop. Get out of here. So go ahead and play around with how you choose to organize your images here in Adobe InDesign. Just play around with it. There's no expectations right now. If you want to make a grid that is linked to every page, you can go to Parents over here, double click on Parent, which is essentially like a template for any of these pages that have the letter A on it to match that. So let's do create guides, for example, and you can actually add, let's click preview, you can actually add a certain amount of columns and rows to it. And then the gutters, what's in between, you can make the gutter bigger, smaller. So we've added these guidelines to the parent, which means everything over here is going to have those guidelines already made. And that already helps us out a lot to decide where we can and can't place these images, just to have a better design alignment. Once you guys are happy with whatever photographs you put in here, oh, by the way, save as first design project here. Once you guys are happy with how you've created your design with your photographs and you like the choices that you've made, because you can notice making them bigger and smaller, what you choose to put next to each other does make a difference. We're going to click File, Export. Export this as an Adobe PDF, and then let's make a new folder, Export PDF, and then we'll click Save. We can mark this as spreads instead of pages, and I think everything else should be fine as default. Click Export. It'll take some time, but once it's there, we have made a PDF using our photographs. Pretty cool.